How's it, ladies and gentlemen? Good evening and welcome back. Today we have the Morne M1 that you've already seen by now. If you have not, go back, watch it. And we have the SVS SoundBase. Let's see. Let's hope I'm surprised again as I was in the previous video of our powered speakers. Caught me usually by surprise. Even watching it back, that will be out now today by the time I'm shooting this. I just edited that video today. Even listening to that back through my headset, I could hear, you can't really hear on the mic how the Clips, the 9 sounds, because most of us are used to Clips being forward sounding, where Clips heritage products are anything but forward sounding. So yeah, you need to experience those. But okay, go back, watch that video if you haven't. Let's move on to this. Firstly, can you guys see how important packaging is? So if you were to walk into a store, not knowing these two brands, knowing they do and they spec the same, which one are you going to buy? Yes, the Mornes. And that's something Apple does very well, is packaging. SVS is terrible at packaging. Somewhere they can step up their game. No, it's you know, to waste money on packaging. But look at what the difference that makes. These two units spec very much the same. There's a price difference. This is about 18,900 and this is 23,900 South African rands. I saw in the States this is $1,000 and this is between $600 and $700. So that is more or less the same difference as we have here. Yeah, let's see if it's worth saving the money and going to the SoundBase. It does come with the remote already, I can see, which the Morne does not have. Hopefully it comes in future. This specs at 150 watts but at 4 ohm, where this specs at 100 watts at 8 ohm. So I'm guessing they're going to be more or less the same. I will still look into it if I can find the 8 ohm rating somewhere. I just couldn't see it everywhere it was 4 ohm. But if you guys know me, I don't care about spec. I don't look at spec and neither should you. Yes, a graph is nice to show you certain things, but at the end of the day, what's important is what you hear and it's what you like. So, if it sounds good to me and it sounds good to you, who is anyone to tell you different? Okay, let's get into this. We put my, if you haven't, go grab your cup of coffee, grab a tea, got a chai latte. Put this to the side. And let's get into this. So it looks like you are cutting this from the top as you would like a ceiling mounted speaker or something. Ah, I found my knife. Yeah, they tape these things so hectically. Must be the most tape I've ever seen used as they do on these SVS packagings. Okay. So on top, surprise, surprise, an SVS warranty owner's manual thingy with all their products. To the side. Got this soft, not the polystyrene, the foam. And there we go, there's the unit. Before we look at that, what else is in the box? Remote. As I said, same remote as on the wireless speaker. We have just some anti-moistures and a power cable and batteries located underneath. I can't see any other Toslink or HDMI cables where, at least on the Mornes, they gave you, you know, one extra Toslink cable. Not that anyone still uses those. They should have given an HDMI. But most of these higher end brands, guys, they don't give you anything that you might buy yourself. You might like better cables. So they won't give you, like a PlayStation give you a universal HDMI cable. They sort of suspect that this sort of client that goes here, they are going to be wanting to use their own cables that they like. So plastic off. Then we are in a nice felted bag. I must say, from here it starts looking a bit better. Now it looks like you're buying a premium product. Let's get the amp out. Okay, I must say, I like it. On top, SVS with these vents there. See if we can see what's going on in here. I know this is Class D amplification, you can't see much. I'll see if I can find the internal pic, but sometimes you can't on these, but let's see. So on the front we have our screen with our pre-selects. We have a source display. We have a volume. A source knob and a volume knob on the display. We have a 3.35mm jack there. I like these little touches. They gave these little curves underneath the volume button, and that looks like a proper amp. Enclosure plastic, not as nice and soft touch as the Mornes. I must say, putting these side by side, very much the same size. But the Mornes just looks more premium, and the Mornes also feels more premium. But this looks more amplifier, where that's more modern and minimalist design. So pick your poison which one you prefer. Feet at the bottom that you can screw off and change if you want. Looks like the access way is from the bottom of all the screws. At the back we have a 3-prong power cable, Ethernet in and out, so you can daisy chain them. Wi-Fi setup, Bluetooth setup, IR 3.5, optical in, HDMI ARC, service USB. We have line ins. This will be for a phono or a CD player or something. We have a subwoofer out, and we also have a line out. So now I'm thinking, line out. Does that mean that you can add a power amplifier to this? I will do some digging, which will be quite nice if you want to add more power down the line. I'm going to stick this in straight away now and start testing and see what it sounds like. Stay tuned. Oh, it seems that my last 2 reviews are just full of surprises. Where to start? Okay, so we are comparing the M1 against the SVS SoundBase. We already went over the looks and unboxings. I'm going to put specs on screen again, side by side, so you guys can have a look at that. How do I feel about these, having used them now for a while? So on the SVS, the screen you can turn off. The SVS logo stays illuminated in blue. I'm still trying to see if there's a way that the blue SVS light can be switched off. I'm sure there must be. Otherwise, it does become a bit annoying if you don't want to see those lights in a dark listening or TV room type vibe. Where on the Mornes, you have that little white light at the bottom. So it's not as in your face as the SVS. The SVS, I can't help feel it remind me of an amplifier that's going to sit by your PC with that sort of look and the inputs, and it shows you the readout in front. I think that is purpose built for that, or for a standalone thing, but I get that amplifier, PC amplifier vibe from it. Where the Mornes has got the more sleek, elegant, hi-fi sort of look to it. Let's get to power. I do feel they are more or less the same. I feel the Mornes might have a slight edge on power, but negligible. Negligible to a point where I don't even think there's anything in it worth it to mention. So if you need to go according to power of these two units, they more or less sound and feel and operate the same. I did feel that the Mornes in some songs, well, most songs, had a bit more headroom. You would be playing music on the SVS at about 75%, where on the Mornes it's going to be more like 60%. Where the but comes in, the Mornes for me has a much more forward sounding, shall we dare say bright sound to it. So there, I never felt the need to go into those volume levels where after 60 just got too much for my ears and I turned it back down. Where on the SVS for me is a much more neutral, warm sounding amplifier, so I could go up into those volumes and it did not hurt my ears or fatigue me at all. It's just my ears don't like I like forward sounding, but not too bright and shouty. So I do also feel that the SVS amp was made with driving SVS speakers in mind, because it does drive all of them also beautifully, especially the Ultra Evolution Titans. Look at my goosebumps, then you know I'm not lying. On most of the amps I had to sort of tweak down the bass on the Ultra Evolutions, but not so on the SVS SoundBase. The bass for me was just perfect. That's bringing in my second con into the SVS SoundBase. Again, as with the wired powered speakers, I can't find any way to tweak the tone controls. No treble, no bass. Again, that Play-Fi app, I've gotten more used to it now, but I still do not like it. It has no flexibility. Where on the HEOS app for the Mornes, I can go in, I can tweak everything. Bass, treble, left, right, everything. Where on the SoundBase on the Play-Fi app, I can't do anything. It is very limited in its function. Third con, the remote, which I said is nice to have. It's nice to have if you have like a play pause next previous song, which you do not have. You have volume up and down, you have a play pause. I see there's a play pause, but there's no next track. So if I now want to go to the next track, what do? You play pause? You can't. The other one is a mute, and it is for your brightness up and down. Those are input selections, and those are the custom selections you can do. But there is no next song. So either listen to all the songs and let them skip by themselves, or take out your phone in any case, which makes this mute, unless you want to mute the volume or up and down the volume. So points deducted for that. Bit of a useless remote control. They should sort of, it's not a, I don't know why they didn't do it. It's an easy thing to fix. That being said, the Morne still has no remote, so you are bound to using that app or front of the screen, which you won't really do unless they are both like close to your PC. Then they will work with the volume off of the next pause, all of that. And then again, the SVS is better because you have more control over the front screen with input selectors and a volume dial, which you do not have on the Mornes. So almost the same as with the wireless speakers we did. There's no sort of perfect product here. They all do things differently, and you need to decide which one is going to work for you. I would say speaker pairing is going to be the main decider here. Not that they battle to drive any speakers, but the sort of speaker you are aiming to use on this. If you already have a bright and forward sounding speaker, go for the SVS, because you want to tone that back a bit. There's no need in putting bright on bright and having it way too bright. If you have a more natural sounding speaker, Maybe the SVS, like say the Polk R700, it's linear. The SVS might make that speaker sound a bit dull. So there you go for the Mornes because you want to bring out a little bit of excitement in that speaker. Let me think of more examples. PSB is another example of a neutral warm speaker. We have the Polks. Monitor Audio is not more forward sounding. Bowers is more forward sounding. SVS is forward sounding. Clips. On Clips you can play around with both. I think that's the one speaker, depending on the R's are a bit forward sounding. The RPs are more neutral, and the Heritage are actually, people think horns are all bright. They're not. Heritage is very neutral. So you can play around with which one your ear prefers, but I'll highly recommend you go and test both of these units because there's not much between them. And actually, thinking of that, for the 5,000 Rand difference, I might go for the SVS. I think the SVS is my favorite of these two amplifiers. But as I say it, I'm like, oh, the Mornes look so much nicer. There is a bit more, shall I say, detail on the Mornes. But then I might also just be sort of obscuring detail for some brightness, because the SVS had that sound where I was listening to intense guitars from Nils Lofgren, and you got to the sections where it was very overwhelming, where it's like very fast, and this just almost slowed time down and made me enjoy every single pluck of that guitar and jumping from left to right, and it would be low down pieces and then bim, some highs would come in just with pinpoint accuracy. Where on the Mornes, listening to the same song, still on the SVS speaker, which is a bit brighter, I'm sure the Polk will make the sound different, but it was as if all the guitar notes were just very there, out there. And then when those little nuances and details come, they're still there. But because the main listening or the main environment is already so forward sounding, you don't catch that as much as I think the recording intended. So it really comes down to pairing your amplifiers to your speakers. Yeah, I would recommend, if you have SVS speakers, get yourself a SVS amplifier. They just work so well. Let me do some demos. Let's play the SVS. Let's play the Mornes. Let's start small. Let's use the Pinnacles. Then we use the Ultra. Then we use the Ultra floor stander. And then let's see if I bring in a different sort of speaker. I think I still have my Clips R600s here. We'll bring them in. And then we can see how that sounds on both amplifiers. So guys, before I go any further, there is a special this month only on the SVS SoundBase and a set of SVS bookshelves. I think it's 51,000 Rand. I'll post the pic on screen now. Also, if you go in store, it will be there. Actually, just contact me because you'll see the SoundBase there, but not the combo with the speakers. So if you're interested in the combo, I'm going to put it on screen in description. Contact me, drop me an email, and we can sort you out. But this month only. Okay, let's get into testing. Okay guys, so let's start M1 on the SVS Ultra bookshelves. This I'm going to do a little section just with some deep voices, but very short, because I know it's going to get flagged, but I just want you to hear the differences in deep down voice.
All hands, hoist the cup.
Okay, just a little snippet. Okay, here goes my normal demo track. let's quickly jump over to the SVS. I just need to plug around some cables and then we'll do that test again. Okay, here we go. SVS on SVS. The Prime bookshelves. Yeah, I must confidently say, bookshelf on the same speaker. On the SVS, I prefer the SVS. Just prefer it sounds better to my ear. Let's swap out these bookshelves. Let's go to the Clips bookshelf and see if it is the same or do we find something different. Okay, Clips are the 600 M2s on the SVS SoundBase. Here we go. I had to adjust this volume down a little bit. The sensitivity made a huge volume jump from the SVS speakers. Let's play the okay, Morne's M1 on the Clips RP 600 M2s. Okay, so most definitely amplifier dependent, speaker dependent. On this testing, I think I did like the Morne's M1 slightly more than the SVS. Where on the SVS speaker, I definitely like the SVS more. So this is going to be a question of sitting down with your dealer and having a listen to all of these. If you don't have that opportunity, that's why I'm doing these, to try and explain the differences so you guys can sort of know what you are heading in for when you purchase these products. Okay, so lastly, I want to show you how this SVS can drive the big SVS Ultra Evolution Titans. We have done the M1 before, so I just want to show you that they can absolutely thunder a big set of demanding speakers. Okay, SVS SoundBase on SVS Ultra Evolution Titans. Just have a listen to this. Unfortunately, can't play too much of that. We're going to get copyright struck. But how insane does that sound? So let's do our normal test that we always do on our royalty free, so I can let it run a bit longer. Here we go. They gave the speaker the right name, the Titan. It is an absolute titan of a speaker. And that is a small little titan of an amplifier. Goosebumps again. That was amazing. So my recommendation will be, if you have SVS speakers, partner them with a SVS SoundBase. The Mornes you're going to have to play around. It might make some speakers sound a little overly bright, but you can play around. So the Morne has tone controls. So if you have a speaker that's a bit bright, you pull the treble back. If you want more bass, you can play around. On the SVS, I need to stress this, you can't. I found no way on the powered speakers or on the SVS SoundBase that you can play around with your tone controls. Where with the HEOS products, there is I can do tone control on every single unit in a HEOS home network. I think it's the app. This Play-Fi app sucks. It's not utterly bad, but it sucks in places like that. And I find it laggy, but that's not the problem. Lag I can deal with, but not having tone controls, because you always want to I like to review speakers neutral, so I did no tone controls on this review on any speaker, but I like to play around. So if I was listening to a sort of Bowers and they sound a bit bright, I would pull treble back 1 or 2 decibels. That's the sort of thing that you expect at this price point. And again, SVS fails me this round on this unit. But sound wise, it just utter highs. Not utter highs in brightness, just the way it sounds. I absolutely adore that amplifier. Between that and the M1, what do I choose? I can't give you a clear-cut winner here. It's very speaker dependent. The one is more expensive, so looking at that, the SVS is a bit of a bargain, but there's no doubting the Morne is the more premium unit. But speaker pairing is going to be crucial. You don't want to put forward with forward, as I said. You want to put something a bit forward, but back. You want to sort of compromise there. But you do have the tone controls. So it's going to come down to budget and which one you like. I highly recommend testing both. Both of these are in store. You can buy them from me. You can come and demo them at me if you are close by, if you want to make a bit of a trip. I'll make it worth your time. Give you a coffee, take you through all of this, take you through the different cinema rooms. And we should be moving property soon. Hopefully, Home Cinema King and Carpentry King is going to be expanding. But I don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. And let's touch wood before the deal we have on the table falls through. And let's hope this does not. Yeah, I'll give you a full tour on if and when that happens. Guys, but until then, again, I hope you liked this video. Hope you got something out of it. If you did, please be kind enough to give us a like, subscribe, share. It helps the analytics out a lot and it doesn't cost you anything. Why did I jump to the powered speakers and the streaming amplifiers before I did the review on the Pinnacle bookshelves, sensor and the heights? Just because these are a bit quicker to do, because you unbox the amplifier, you put it on, you test it, and you run through it. Where those take a bit more time, do the unboxing, then do all the speakers one by one. So it's in the works. Those will come next. I'm going to put this video out after the powered speakers one, so they follow, and then we will continue with the rest of the SVS range until we end with one big video on the total SVS system. Guys, stay tuned for that. Stay safe. Cheers. Bye.